Okay, class, today we are going to start discussing on leadership. Okay? Chapter 13, leadership. So there are differences between leadership and management. Leaders are normally people who actually using influence, whereas managers are is a person who use power. Yeah, and then we are talking about leaders. They have followers, whereas managers they have subordinates. So when we talk about leadership, yeah, when we talk about leadership, there are differences, but then some similarity in terms of making decision, setting directions, problem solving. Those are part of actually managers as well, part of leaders function, as well part of management function. So, so when we talk about the differences between leaders and managers, we need to understand the concept of leadership and how leadership came about. But before that, we need to actually go on to the theories of leadership first, to the theories of leadership. So when we talk about the theories of leadership, the first thing that we need to understand is the what we call the traits theories. So the trait theories is that for a strong leader, trait theories of leadership focus on personal qualities and characteristics. Yeah, so comprehensive review of the leadership literature organized around the Big Five framework, that has found extraversion to be the most important traits of effective leader. They need to be extrovert, but it is more related to the way leader emerge than to their effectiveness, how they portray themselves. Yeah, so leaders being who like being around people, they like to mix around people and can assert themselves, which is they are extroverted, as well as are disciplined and able to keep commitment they make. They follow through and have and I would say apparent advantage when it comes to leadership. Mean to say, good leaders do have certain traits in common, certain behaviors in common. Leading others, setting direction. They are extrovert. They can actually convey messages, influence people. Yeah. So another trait that may indicate effective leadership is what we call the emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence is about awareness, situational awareness. They know how to talk, what to talk. They know they can actually empathize with the situation. So the core component here is empathy. Understand what is happening around them. So when we talk about the relationship between leaders, what associate leaders is actually their emotional intelligence, then their ability to do what we call transformation and transformation. Uh, Ability to transform, ability to be aware or have the EI, emotional intelligence, actually is one of, I would say, the highest rating that followers give to their leaders. Yeah. But then again, research has demonstrated that people with high emotional intelligence would more likely to emerge as leader even after taking what we call cognitive ability and personality into the account. Yeah, so mean to say, people who have this emotional intelligence, aware of their surrounding, they will make a more effective leader. So based on the latest finding, we can offer two conclusions. First, we can say that traits can predict leadership. Traits can predict leadership. Second, traits do a better job predicting the emergence of leader than they do at distinguishing between effective and ineffective leaders. So we talk about emerging leaders, they are there, but we are not talking about either they are effective or ineffective. Yeah, we are not talking about that. We are just looking into what makes a good leader. What are the traits? That is all the traits theories. Then we have the what we call the behavioral theories. Yeah. Now, behavioral theories of leadership says that we can train people to be leaders. Yeah. behavioral theories of leadership imply or says that we can train people to be leaders. So when we talk about the study that has been conducted is by Ohio State University Studies in the State, it concluded that the most comprehensive theories resulted from the Ohio State University studies. They can identify the interdependent dimension of a leader behavior, how they behave. So we can create that leader, we can teach, we can actually train them. So it's all started with what we call understanding the 1,000 dimension. The 1,000 dimension to see what are the behaviors of a leader. And then after studying those, studying those 1,000 of dimension, and then they actually filter that, and then they concluded that there are certain behaviors, like contohnya, like example, initiative structure. They can create rules. They actually are considerate. So when we talk about structure, leaders initiating structure is the extent to which a leader define and structure his or her role and those or the people within his or her team in order for them to achieve their goals, the team goals, the objective of the team. First, initiating structure. Second is consideration. Consideration is the extent to which a leader has job relationship. They are categorized by mutual trust. And they will respect their team ideas, and they always regard their feelings. This is part of the emotional intelligence. So a leader high in consideration, high in emotional intelligence, help their team with their personal issues or problem, and would normally be friendly and approachable, and they treat all employees as equal. And normally these people express appreciation and support to the team. So that is on what we call the behavioral theories. The example, there are two theories: trait theories, behavioral theories. The next one is, I will say, the globe study. The globe study. Some research from the globe study suggests that there are international differences in preference for initiating structure of the team and the consideration. Now remember, when we talk about behavioral studies, we look into initiating structure and what will be the consideration. For example, based on the values of, let's say, Brazilian employees and the US manager leading a team, Brazil would need to be a team-oriented, participative, and humane, because we cannot employ the US leadership style in Brazil because maybe it is two different things, two different culture. We actually have discussed culture, kan? Culture in Malaysia, culture in other countries are different. The way we communicate, the way we do things, the way we consider people are two different things. So in this manner, if we are working on a cross-cultural, a leader in high consideration would succeed and be more successful in this kind of environment if they are cross-cultural, leaders. So a leader a leader who is high in initiating structure, mean to say task-oriented will do best and can make decision in a relatively autocratic manner. So people who are working who lead based on task-oriented, process-based, normally they will do best, they perform if they are exercising what we call autocratic leadership style. So in summary, the differences between traits and behavioral theories, research has indicated that there is a validity for both of the traits and behavioral theories. Part of each theory can help us to explain the facet of leadership emergence and effectiveness. However, identifying the exact relationship between emergence and effectiveness is not a simple task. The first difficulty is in correcting what we call identifying or correcting or identifying whether a trait or a behavior can predict certain outcome. Can he be a good leader based on traits, based on behavior? Yeah. The second one is actually the difficulty for us to explore which combination of traits theories and behavior theories that yield certain outcome. How do we combine them? How do we create a leader? And the third challenge is to determine the relationship of trait and behavior so that we can predict what will be the desirable leadership outcome that we want. So both are important in terms of identifying is the leader effective or ineffective, or can they actually guarantee success in terms of actually developing the leader. All right, we continue later on.